ॐ भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Text 39. Thank you. तदसौ वद्यतां पाप आततायात्मबन्धुः भर्तुश्च विप्रियं वीर कृतवान् कुलपांसनः.
This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt of remnants of his family. Kill him immediately.
Text 40. Sutovacha. Evam parikshata dharmam पार्थकृष्णेन चोदितः नैच्छत्तं गुरुसुतं यद्यप्यात्महनं महान्.
Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya. Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members.
Text 41. अतोपेत्य स्वशीर्बीरं गोविन्दप्रियसारथिः न्यवेदयत्तं प्रियायै शोचन्त्यात्मजान् हतान्.
After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Sri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons.
Text 42. तथाहितं पशुवत्पाशब्दबतम् अवाङ्कुखं कर्म जुगुप्सितेन निरीक्ष्य कृष्णापकृतं गुरोसुतं वामस्वभावा कृपया ननाम च.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwatthama, who was bound with the ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respects as a Brahmana.
Text 43. उवाच चासहन्त्यस्य बन्धनानयनं सती मुच्यतामेष ब्राह्मणो नितरां गुरुः.
Not tolerate Ashwatthama's being bound by ropes and being devoted lady. She said, release him, for he is Brahmana and our spiritual master.
Text 44. सरहस्योदनुर्वेदः सविसर्गोपसंयमः अस्त्रग्रामश्च भवता शिक्षितो यदनुग्रहात्.
It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons.
Text 45. स एष भगवान् द्रोणः प्रजारूपेण वर्तते तस्यात्मनोर्धं पत्यास्ते नान्वगाद् वीरसूकृपी.
He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife Krupi did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son.
Text 46. तद्धर्मज्ञ महाभाग भवद्भि गौरवं कुलम् वृजिनं नार्हति प्राप्तुं पूज्यं वन्द्यमभीक्षसः.
O most fortunate one who know the principles of religion, it's not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful.
Text 47. मारोदीतस्य जननी गौतमी पतिदेवता यथाहमृतवत्सार्था रोदिम्यश्रुमुखी मुहुः.
My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me.
Text 48. यैकोपितं ब्रह्मकुलं राजन्यैरचितात्मभिः तत्कुलं प्रदहत्याशु सानुबन्धं शुचार्पितम्.
If the kingly administrative order being unrestricted in sense control offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all.
Text 49. Sutta Vacha. धर्म्यं न्यायं सकरुणं निर्व्यलीकं समं महत् राजा धर्मसुतो राज्ञा प्रत्यनन्दद्वचो द्विजाः.
Suta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity.
Text 50. नकुलः सह देवश्च युयुधानो धनञ्जयः भगवान् देवकी पुत्रो ये चान्येयाश्च योषितः.
Nakula and Sahadeva, the younger brothers of King, also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, son of Devaki, and ladies, and others all unanimously agreed with the king.
Text 51. तत्राहामर्षितो भीमः तस्य श्रेयान् वद स्मृतः न भर्तुर्नात्मनश्चार्थे यो हन्सुप्तान् शिशून् वृता.
Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest.
Text 52. निशम्य भीमगदिदं द्रौपद्याश्च चतुर्भुजः आलोक्य वदनं सख्यम् इदमाह सनिन्निव.
Chaturbhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling.
Text 53-54. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. ब्रह्म ब्रह्मबन्धुर्न हन्तव्य आततायीवदार्हणः मयैवोभयमां नाथं परिपाह्यनुशासनं कुरु प्रतिश्रुतं सत्यं यत्तत् सान्त्वयता प्रियं च भीमसेनस्य पाञ्चाल्या मह्यमेव च.
The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, a friend of Brahmana is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife. and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
Text 55, Sutta Vacha. Arjuna Sahasajnaya Harirhardamathasina Manim Jahara Murdhanyam Dvijasya Sahamurtajam.
Suta Goswami said, just then Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
Text 56. Vimuchya Rashanabhandam Balahtyahata Prabham Tejasa Maninahinam Shibirani Rayapaya.
He, Ashwatthama, had already lost his bodily luster due to his infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus, he was unbound and driven out of the camp.
Text 57. Vapanam Dravinadhanam Sthananiryapanam Tata Esha hi Brahma Bandhunam Vadho Nanyosti Daihikaha.
Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and depriving him from his residence or prescribed punishments for the relative of Brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body.
Text 58. Putra Shokatura Sarve Pandavasah Krishnaya Svanam Vrithanam Yat Krityam Chakrur Nirhanadikam.
Thereafter, the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals of the dead bodies of the relatives.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for that wonderful recitation, Prabhuji and Mataji. Are the slides visible on the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, so we will start. We'll recite the prayers first. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. Om Agnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shanvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Nrutyantya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suratsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Tatam Prasangan Mama Veera Samvido Bhavantirutkarna Rasayana Katha Tajoshanada Shvapavarka Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anuprameshyate. My humble obeisances to all. Today's verse is verse number 48. So we'll continue the discussion. Yaikopitam brahmakulam rajan yairajitatmabihi tatkulam pradahatyashu tanubandham shucharpitam. Synonyms: yea, by those, kopitam, enraged, brahmakulam, the order of the brahmanas, rajyan yai, by the administrative order, ajita, unrestricted, atmabhi, by oneself, tat, that, kulam, family, pradahati, is burnt up, ashu, within no time, sanubandham, together with family members, shucharpitam, being put into grief. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. The Brahmana order of society or the spiritually advanced caste or community and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the laborers. So that's the purport of today's verse. And just so that where we know where we are in this chapter, the contents everyone knows by now is the chapters entitled The Son of Drona Punished. First 7 verses, Vyasdeva's vision and glories of Bhagavatam. Then Vyasdev teaches Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukadev Goswami. Thereafter, lamentation for Pandava's dead sons. Arjuna captures Ashwathama. And the last section is argument on killing Ashwathama. So we are here now on the last verse of this section about, it talks about Draupadi's, how Draupadi is so mild and gentle by nature and her reasons why Ashwathama should not be killed. So how we reach here, so quickly we will just summarize in few minutes, we'll try. That we know that this chapter, how it starts is that Vyasdev had already met Narad Muni recently, and Narad Muni inspires him to compile Srimad Bhagavatam and glorify Lord Shri Krishna more and discuss the pastimes. And so after Narad Muni departs, he sits down and meditates, and then he comes to the conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the solution to all the suffering, and Jiva is suffering due to Maya. And results of what are the results of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsa Shokamoha Bhayapaha. So there are some very beautiful verses in this chapter, verse 6, 7. So it says, by giving oral reception to the Bhagavatam, the feeling of bhakti, prema for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna sprouts up and destroys lamentation, illusion, and fear. And hearing Bhagavatam produces bhakti, means love of God. So also what then to speak of the greater effect if one engages others in hearing it also? And what greater effect speaking it must have? And what even greater effect will be in engaging others in speaking it produces? So brilliant purports written by Srila Prabhupada, all these verses. And then 8 to 11, Vyasdeva teaches Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukdev Goswami, and a very, very popular verse there also, 10th verse in this chapter. Atma Ramascha Muniyo Nirgrantha Apyurukrame Kurvantya Haitukim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi. So one could ask that Shukdev Goswami already knows Srimad Bhagavatam, he knows Lord's glories. What is the need for him to study it further and learn from his father Vyasdev? So this verse explains that even the liberated souls who are Atma Ramas, who are self-satisfied, who are Munis, they don't need anything else to satisfy them. They are extremely satisfied and complete in their service to the Lord. But even they are attracted to the transcendental qualities of Lord Hari, and they desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto him. So such is the glory of bhakti. And this Atmarama's verse, 61 different meanings are explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. So I think chapter 26, so we can read that. There are 61 different meanings of this, just one verse, Atmaramas Chamuniyo. So thereafter, we can see that in chapter 4, as we had discussed also last time, that 3 questions were asked by the sages of Naimir Sharanya in 4th chapter, and the questions were history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please explain us more about Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami, how he meets Parikshit Maharaj, how does the meeting take place. So the first question, history of Srimad Bhagavatam, has already been discussed. It starts this was so far we have seen 4th chapter to 7th chapter till verse 11, history of Srimad Bhagavatam, has that question has been answered. And so the second question is now about Parikshit Maharaj. So from 12th verse in this chapter, that he starts answering that question. So he builds up towards Parikshit Maharaj birth, and so he starts with the story of what has happened at the Kurukshetra war. The war is over, and then before the Pandavas are enthroned into the Hastinapur, what happens is Ashwathama comes and he kills the 5 sleeping sons of Pandavas. So this is how it is narrated, that this is what happens at the end of the Kurukshetra war. And so obviously when this heinous act is done by Ashwathama, he kills the 5 sleeping sons. Draupadi cries in distress with so much tears, and Arjuna then pacifies her by saying that after beheading that Brahmana, which is Ashwathama, I will wipe your tears, and then after burning your sons' bodies, you can take your bath standing on Ashwathama's head. So all that has happened, and then thereafter Arjuna chases Ashwathama along with Krishna as his charioteer. And but then Ashwathama is extremely fearful seeing Arjuna and Krishna coming towards him. Also in Bhagavad Gita, the last verse always comes to mind when Krishna and Arjuna are together, what happens? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, there is definitely morality, power, and victory. So Ashwathama is extremely scared, and in that fear, his horses were exhausted, and finding no alternative, he released the ultimate weapon, which is called Brahmastra. So, and whoever releases this weapon should have the knowledge also of, getting it back, retracting it. But he did not have this knowledge. He just had this half knowledge of just releasing it, because this is a deadly weapon. And you cannot just release this to save your own body. This is a very selfish act done on the part of Ashwatthama, not thinking about what will happen to humanity in general. So, and then what happens thereafter is that there is a glaring light spread in all the directions, and seeing his own life in danger, Arjuna addresses Krishna, and then there are two beautiful prayers by Arjuna. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Twameko Dahyamananam Apavargosi Samshutehe. That you are the ultimate shelter, and Krishna, you are transcendental, you are the supreme controller and master of spiritual energy, and you are always situated in eternal bliss and knowledge. So thereafter, obviously after his prayers, Krishna responds that this is the act of Ashwatthama, who released this Brahmastra out of fear for his own life, and he doesn't know how to retract. So the solution is that only another Brahmastra can counteract it, which Arjuna had the knowledge of. Therefore, he says, subdue it with your own Brahmastra. Hearing this, Arjuna circumambulated Krishna, and he and cast his Brahmastra. So when these two Brahmastra, the effect is that a great circle of fire covered outer space and the planets, and everyone in the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat. And understanding the will of Krishna, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastras to protect the world from destruction. So after this Brahmastras and all that episode finishes, then now Arjuna arrests Ashwatthama. And Arjuna was so angry, and he bound the Ashwatthama with ropes, like how one binds an animal, and he wanted to take him back to the military camp. And Krishna then speaks in angry mood as well. Krishna never gets angry, he just gets angry to be supporting Arjuna, that what has happened is not acceptable, and Arjuna is angry, so Krishna is just as a support to him, also shows an anger. Now thereafter we saw that Krishna tells Arjuna, last time also we discussed, when we had discussed the 40, which verse was it, 41st verse, that Krishna gives 5 reasons why Arjuna should kill Ashwatthama. And the reasons were that he is a Brahma Bandhu. Why we are discussing this is because all these reasons will be Draupadi will be now giving another 6 reasons why Ashwatthama should not be killed, as against what Krishna says that why he should be killed. So we will just quickly go through. So the first reason was, he says that Ashwatthama is Brahma Bandhu Arjun. So you can kill him. Brahma Bandhu means he's born in a Brahmana family, but he does not have any qualities. So just by birth, one does not become Brahman. There are so many qualities that he should have, like tolerance, compassion, truthfulness, all this, which is not there. So you can kill him. Secondly, he's violated the codes of the war. So in any religious war, there are codes to follow. For example, one should not kill in a war one who is intoxicated, children, ladies, those who are without chariot or weapons, those who are fearful. All these people should not be killed. These are the codes of war. And even when we come to that chapter in this canto, even Kali becomes very, very fearful. And at that time, Parikshit Maharaj releases Kali, because one who is fearful, a Kshatriya cannot kill. So the third reason he gives is that such people who exist at the cost of others, they should be killed, because he's killing others, and at that cost he's living. So there is no harm in killing him. And moreover, Arjuna, you have promised Draupadi that you'll bring him, and then she can stand on his head and take bath. And the last reason Krishna says is that he is a murderer and he has dissatisfied his own master, because we know that Duryodhan was not happy with this act of Ashwatthama at all. So there is no really point in his living. and he can be killed. So these are the 5 reasons given by Krishna. And then later on, we had also seen that how even though Krishna says that kill Ashwadhama, he does not mean it. So many times our superiors, they may say something, but there is something else behind it. But one who has a very good deep bonding and relationship with the superior or guru will actually understand that what actually my guru wants. So Arjuna understands it very well that Krishna actually does not want me to kill. And so now that happens at the end of this happens at the end of 42nd verse, and from 43rd verse, so today's verse is 48, so 43 to 48, 6 verses. These are the 6 reasons why Draupadi is saying that Ashwatthama should not be killed. So Krishna gave 5 reasons, and Draupadi, being a devotee, devotee is always also, because devotee is Krishna's devotee, they are also smarter and more wise also. So she gives 6 reasons. So first she says that Krishna had called him Brahma Bandhu, but Draupadi says that he is a Brahmana. So out of her soft nature, she says so. And she says that it's not a dharma to kill a Brahman. So she takes this other angle of being compassionate, that he is Brahmana, he's still a Brahmana. So that is called dharmyam. Then nyayam, justice. Second is that he's not only Brahmana, but he's also a son of your gurus, who is Dronacharya. And how can you kill your Guru Putra? So all this military art that you have learned, and today you have bound him with that art. All this you have learned from his father, so you cannot kill him. And then she says that Sa Karuna, merciful. Drona is represented by his son Ashwathama, and Kripi is still living. So while Kripi is living and her husband is no more, her protector or one who maintains her or takes charge of her as a mother is her son. And so we cannot kill him. So this is Draupadi's compassion. And also she does not want Kripi to cry like herself. So this is where we can see that how a mother understands when her own son is, this is excruciatingly painful. She understands this. And so she does not want Kripi to go through this. And also she says that we should not cause pain to respectable order. So Brahmanas are very well respected in 4 orders by all the 3 other orders. So she says that at one point, if we are saying we are so respecting Brahmanas, then how can we be duplicitous and actually kill when something reversible has happened? So we cannot, this is our test. And then she says that she knows the pain of her son's death, and when the son dies, how much a mother will lament. So I know that, and I don't want similar pain for Kripi. And this is the empathy of Draupadi we can see here. And the last reason is that kingly administrative offends the Brahminical order and enrages them, that burns the royal family. So if we do this, then our reaction will be that our own Kshatriya family will be burnt if we disrespect and kill a Brahmana. So here I just thought that today we will, in this connection, see a few more episodes that happened in Srimad Bhagavatam in connection to Draupadi, because all these verses are about Draupadi's gentle nature, how being a devotee, she is so kind and tolerant. So when things happen in our life, certain situations come, they are not according to always what we want. Things will happen against our will. Many times we want things to go one way, they go another way. But how we respond to it is in our hand. But what happens with us around us is never in our hand. And from this episode also, there are so many lessons. So in contrast to how Draupadi reacted, we know Gandhari. Gandhari, she is a great soul. We know that. And she is a Mahapativrata. Still, she could not digest the pain of her son's death. You know, as soon as she heard that all 100 sons had died at hands of Bhima, she cursed Krishna. She understands that Krishna is behind the whole scene, and so Krishna is the supporter of Pandavas. So she said, "Because of you, I lost my 100 sons. So I curse you that your dynasty will be destroyed. Yadu dynasty will be destroyed." So we can see here that when the son dies, it's excruciatingly painful to the mother. And even such an exalted soul like Gandhari could not tolerate the pain to the extent of cursing Krishna's dynasty also. And we can also see that from another side, that Uttara, when we will come to the 8th chapter also, as I was reading that, I was connecting this to somehow this came to my mind. We know that later on Ashwatthama will release another Brahmastra to kill the embryo of Uttara, because that is the last line, that is the son of Abhimanyu, and that is their legacy to continue. So there he releases this, and Uttara, even though everyone is present there, Pandavas, her father-in-law, all the respected elders are there, but Uttara runs to Krishna. And what she says there in the 9th and 10th verse is that, my Lord, you are so powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me. And she says that, my Lord, let it burn me personally. So this is a mother's plight when her child's life is in danger. She says that if you so desire, uh, let me die. I can be killed or burnt by this Brahmastra. That is absolutely fine. But don't let this abort my embryo. So please do me this favor, my Lord. So this is where we are trying to understand this, the heart of a mother. That here Gandhari herself curses Krishna. She cannot bear the pain, and this is how she responds. Uttara responds asking for shelter from Krishna, that let this burn me but save my embryo. And here we can see this has happened with Draupadi, but how she responds. And she is given these 6 brilliant reasons why he should not be killed. So, and even there are more pastimes that I was reading, and I thought this connects very well to the verse. So everyone knows the episode of Diti and Kashyapa. This comes in Canto 6. And we know here that everyone knows, right? What happens in this episode here is that Diti, not having heard the advice of Kashyapa, ends up bearing 2 sons in her womb for 100 of years pregnancy, and then finally when they come out, due to the wrong time they were conceived, they happen to be the greatest big demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. We know that. And they were both killed by Lord Vishnu, as we can see here, Lord Narsimha Dev's episode, and then Varahadev, and here is Hiranyaksha fight. They were both killed at the hands of Lord Vishnu. And this is because Indra had gone and he had prayed. And because of that, so Diti always had this thing in her heart that my sons, even though they were demons, see how a mother is so attached to the sons that she says that because of Indra, my sons were killed. So only when sinful Indra is killed, I can rest in peace. This was the thought process of Diti. And she said that she wants to have a son who can kill Indra. And so with this bad intention, she goes to Kashyapa Muni. She serves him so nicely. So when he says, ask for a boon, not knowing the heart of Diti, he says, and then she says that my desire is to get an immortal son who can kill cruel Indra, who was the cause of my son's death. Hearing such unusual request, Kashyapa thought that if I fulfill my wife's desire, I will fall down to hell. But he can't ignore the promise either. So what he does is that he cleverly gives her the boon, but at the same time, he does it in such a way that she can be saved also from such a cruel intention, and so can Indra be. So he says that I will teach you a method to worship Pumsavan Vrata, and that you need to perform for 1 year. If you perform it strictly without any mistakes, then you will definitely get a son who can kill Indra. So the condition was that the Vrata has to be done very strictly, and he tells her all the rules and regulations, and Diti follows it very well, and she starts the vrata. But understanding Diti's purpose, Indra comes in disguise, and he starts serving Diti along with her. He starts serving her because every day she has to prepare the paraphernalia and do the puja and homa and vrata. So Indra daily brings her flowers and fruits and wood and kusha grass, etc. And so Diti didn't know this is Indra. And one day Diti unfortunately neglected to wash her mouth, hands, and feet after eating, and she went to sleep in the evening time. So now this is one of the conditions that is broken. Finding this fault, Indra enters her womb with the mystic powers, and while she was asleep, and with his thunderbolt, he cuts her embryo into 7 pieces. And then we can see here the Maruts, the 7 children are actually there in the womb. They were not dead. And then he further cuts them, they become 49 pieces. So now there are 49 children. And Indra was surprised, all this happening in the womb inside Diti. So anyway, after this, Indra, the Marut say, oh, this, you are our brother, how can you kill us? And meanwhile, Diti got up from her sleep and she saw her 49 sons as brilliant as fire and in friendship with Indra. So Diti saw Indra and asked him that I performed the vrata to kill you and I prayed for a son, but now there are 49. So please tell me the truth, how all this happened. So he explains that Indra says that I was selfish and I came to find fault in your vrata. But then now there are 49 Maruts here, the children. This is a great wonder, and this is only happened because of your worship of Lakshmi and Narayan. So he says that and even Diti's heart gets changed by Indra's truthfulness and humility. Diti becomes pleased. So Diti has forgotten her enmity, and Indra has forgotten also that he needs to save himself. And there is a nice friendship here. We can see that wholeheartedly everyone has forgiven each other. This has happened because of bhakti. The vrata that Diti performed to Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan, that changed the heart. So it is actually bhakti that can bring transformation. And even when sometimes someone is, say, has caused us pain or hurt us, but if we tolerate and if we don't respond in a negative way, then ultimately that person's heart will transform. So that definitely happens. So here from this Diti's episode, we can see that it is the bhakti brings such good values and transformation in a person, same as Draupadi is already a devotee. She is a very big devotee of Krishna. And so that's why she has all these good qualities in her to be able to forgive even someone who has killed her 5 sleeping sons. So if bhakti is done sincerely, it can even transform heart of someone like Diti, who worshipped Vishnu with cruel intentions to kill Indra. But that bhakti transformed not only her, but also Indra. And she gave up her anger. And so we see this happening in Canto 6, in chapter 18 and 19. And uh, Even while experiencing so much pain for her sons, Draupadi could also empathize with uh, Kripi. We can see that she's thinking of this another mother. Why should she go through? And there is similar such episodes also that I could relate to. Maybe you can bring your realizations later, but as I was reading, I thought this is something that is come to my attention. So I will discuss in the class that even in Canto 6, we have seen Chitraketu and Kritadyuti episode, so that they did not have children. He had 10 million wives, but no children. But with Rishi Angira doing the sacrifice and with the the prasad that comes out of from the sacrifice, then the son is finally born to them. But here we can see that all the other ladies, the wives of Chitraketu, they were not devoted, or they did not have these good qualities like Draupadi, or how Diti transformed. So they together became hard-hearted because Chitraketu started neglecting them. He was spending more time with the son and Kritadyuti all the time. So they became envious. And even in Bhagavad Gita, we know those steps, right? When one gets angry, then all the other things happen. It's like a spiral, all the negative things, loss of memory, loss of intelligence. They became intolerant and they poisoned the son, and so the son dies. So there we can see that due to the neglect of their husband, they even killed the one and only son that Chitraketu had. Which this is like such a contrast to how a devotee responds. So in that contrast, we can see Suniti's episode. Even she was, we know that, neglected by her husband Uttanapat. And there was this other co-wife Suruchi, whose son Uttama, where they were both given extra attention by Uttanapat. And we know that Suniti was already neglected. She was so sad. And then on top of it, her son Dhruva was insulted, who was not allowed to sit on the father's lap. And Suruchi tells so many hateful things to him. So he comes to his mother, and we know that someone who's so dejected, neglected, and in pain is now even more devastated because her son is also treated badly by the husband and co-wife. But how does she respond to this situation? We can see in that episode also that because she is such a first class devotee of the Lord, she responds with giving her son the best education and the best advice. She consoles Dhruva and she says that she tells him actually three very nice things, teachings. The first thing she says is that, my dear child, please do not wish ill fortune for others. So do not hold any grudge against your stepmother, Suruchi. So this is the first lesson. Don't hold grudges against the person who has done something wrong to us. Secondly, she says that if we suffer any pain, then that is because of the result of our own past mistakes and deeds. So we should not blame others. We should take the punishment or reversals that come our way in a very dignified way. And thirdly, she says that she gave you the advice that if you want kingdom, if you want to sit on the throne, then you worship Vishnu. So what is wrong in that? That is the right advice. I can give you a love of only one mother, but Vishnu can give you love of thousands of mother. Now, for a mother to say this to a child is like a big thing, right? Because our mother always feels that I love my child the most. But she takes such an exalted position, such a glorious position, and gives Dhruva these three nice advice. And we know that what happens thereafter, how Dhruva becomes the best and the true pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. He goes to worship with the help of Narad Muni in the forest with material desire to become even bigger king than his father and grandfather. But he comes back having got the rarest thing in three worlds, which is pure devotional service, pure love of Godhead, ahaituki bhakti, selfless bhakti that he gets by the blessings of Lord Vishnu. And all this happened because he had this wonderful mother who is a devotee of the Lord, who not only brings transformation in Dhruva, but also in Uttanapad and Suruchi. Later on, we will see how they get transformed as well, totally, and how they repent and regret, and they do atonement and they themselves become very good devotees. So one person brings so much transformation in hearts of everyone. And so here we are just trying to say this, that, a devotee, this is the glory of a devotee, and Lord gives miseries to pure devotees. This is another important point, to glorify. So here we should not see that how comes Krishna, he saves Uttara's embryo in the womb. He does not save these 5 sleeping sons, but there is a reason for everything, that a pure devotee is glorified when the way they respond, we learn from it in reversals in their life. So it's not the suffering for them as a result of their karma. There is nothing to do with that. But Krishna actually wants to glorify and teach us through his devotees that how they never lose faith in the Lord, and something like this does not reduce their faith in the Lord, and they still take Lord shelter, and they direct others also to do the same. So devotees, they do not hold negative feelings or grudge towards even those who cause harm to them or hurt them or make them cry. They are very tolerant, and they have a mature consciousness, which gradually brings transformations in others also. So they deal with situations very patiently, very maturely, and in a forgiving, dignified way. So here we have just discussed and seen that how Suniti, Draupadi, with their tolerance, forgiveness, and noble heart, all of this is the result of because of their pure devotion to Krishna, bhakti. They all, and now later on we will see Bhima after this, that how Bhima responds. So again, we should not think less of Bhima, because the devotees, they all deal with situations according to their nature differently. Some are liberal, some are more conservative. So Draupadi is forgiving, but Bhima is not. So that does not mean that they are not devotees. Main thing, Siddhanta, is that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is our protector, and even though Bhima and Draupadi differ in their response to the situations, they always agree on the one Siddhanta. Main point is that Krishna is our Lord and he is our protector. So as long as that is all in sync, then other things can always be dealt by with the, and they have the complete guidance and support of Krishna next to them. So we will see this in the next coming verses, and it's a very interesting chapter and many lessons. So everything today I spoke, it's all for my own purification. So it's so nice to be actually able to speak and discuss here, because that actually helps me as a reminder, which I need on daily basis. All these lessons for my own improvement and transformation. There is so much to learn and to put in practice. So thank you so much. I will conclude here. And if there are any realizations, any corrections, or any question, we can take, or we can, it's 8:43. So, okay. So there, I think everybody is happy with this section here. And
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna, Danat Pranam Indulekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, very nice to hear your voice once again. Very nice lecture as usual. And here we will see in the next chapter how much tolerant have Kunti Devi been. In the Kunti Stuti, we will learn all these, and hence she will go one by one. How much she suffered when she came back from the forest with her 5 children, how much the Kaurava didn't want to accept them, and how they poisoned Bhima, how they tried to burn them in the wax house, and how they were sent to the forest, how they were dealing with demons and all these things, they will come. So I think here also there is a big lesson from Kunti Devi that we should learn tolerance. And actually, at the end, she came out glorious. She came out like victory. Victory was for them. But still, because she is a great devotee, she still asked Krishna for more pains in her life, more troubles in her life. Just because she is a great devotee, because she knows it doesn't matter, it's coming, it will go. There's ups and downs, and Krishna is there. Main thing is Krishna is there. They don't ask for anything, but just to be the company of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for that realization and sharing that with us all. Absolutely. I mean, we really encourage this. We encourage realizations at the end, and to discuss also and bring out more points that's already not discussed. It's very good to do that. This is a discussion, and so absolutely we look forward to Kunti Maharani prayers, very, very amazing prayers. And obviously, at my level, I can never pray like Kunti Maharani for more reversals or difficulties in life. No, but at least whatever is there, if we can get the ability from the Lord to be able to tolerate and go through even those that are already there, keeping faith and devotees association, and not reducing anything that we are doing, Shravanam, Kirtanam. In fact, we should do more and more. And even when, yes, recently, just it will take few half a minute maybe to say this, that I was hearing this about when Krishna leaves, and then Arjuna comes to Yudhishthir, and how dejected and grief stricken they were, that now Krishna is gone back to the spiritual world. We are on our own. Krishna is the life and soul, and he's no more. So how sad they must be. They could drop down dead the next moment, but no, what do they do in such a situation? They sit down together, and they talk about what is next to be done. So they put Parikshit Maharaj on the throne, and they retire. They retire timely from their kingly duties, and they leave to go back to Godhead. So this shows that they were together. They had devotees association, which helped them go through such a difficult time. And all of us also, when we face certain difficulties in our life, or losing near ones, dear ones, so many difficult times which are very difficult to go through. And in Bhagavad Gita also it says that dualities will come in life. We have to tolerate, keeping faith in Krishna, right? That words, matra sparshastu konteya, sitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama paino nitya, stam stitikshasva bharata. We have to tolerate, but devotees association can really help us. Devotees can help us understand at such a time. They can pacify us. They can give us guidance. That is why it is extremely important to stay in devotee association, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter to go through. We can see all these pastimes, like, normally I cannot remember, but today as I was reading this purport, this came to my mind, that how can we relate how Draupadi reacted, how Gandhari reacted, what Diti does when her sons were dead, and how does Chitraketu and his wife respond. So all these things help us to go through our own situations in life. This is the only way, keeping faith in Krishna, and we will be tested for sure, but we can only seek guidance from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and devotees. So thank you so much. We conclude here.
Yes, Mataji, we are not on that level as Kunti Devi to ask for more pains in our life, more trouble in our life. We are not at her level. We dare not ask, you know. On the other side, we should ask for Krishna's kripa, not for otherwise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and thank you for all the messages in the chat, and thank you for the encouragement. And so, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya
पतितनां
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Krishna,
Yes.
Vaishnava.
Thank you, Mataji.
So, Divya, Gaurangi, have a
Thank you,
nice time.
Mataji. Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.